Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Oldham County Fiscal Court. I'm Judge Executive David Vogel. Appreciate you being here with us today. And if you have a cell phone with you, please turn it to off or vibrate. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Pledge.
Jumped ahead of myself, you're right. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will try that again. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Likens.
Here.
Magistrate Tice.
Here.
Magistrate Leslie. Magistrate Greenwell.
Here.
Magistrate Hounds.
Here.
Magistrate Eldridge.
Here.
Magistrate Dye.
Here.
Magistrate Logsdon.
Here.
Judge Vogel.
Here. Having 8 of the 9 members of the Fiscal Court present, this meeting is now in session. Is there a motion to accept the agenda?
Second.
Additions? I would like to add on the other side of the bottom, other business, executive session to discuss litigation. Just ahead of our last announcements and updates. Hearing no other additions, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. I'm going to ask Ms. Fair to please read the minutes from our last meeting, which was on March 20th.
March 20th, 2018. The Oldham County Fiscal Court convened at a regular meeting at 2:05 p.m. with Judge Executive David Vogel, County Attorney John Carter, and the following magistrates in attendance: Brent Likens, Wayne Tice, Bob Leslie, Steve Greenwell, Chris Hounds, Kevin Eldridge, Bob Dye, and Michael Logsdon. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the agenda, adding fireworks contract under committee recommendations and Kentucky Retirement Systems administrative action under personnel actions. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Dye and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to approve the meeting minutes of March 6th. Motion carried unanimously. Public comment. The following people spoke to the court in support of legalizing medical cannabis and asked for the court to consider passing a resolution in support of House Bill 166. Larry Kaiser, 3000 Maple Leaf Drive, LaGrange. James Montalvo, Jefferson County. Dan Seam, Jr., Louisville. Kim Nethery, 7402 Cardinal Road in Crestwood. Rebecca Giffardy, 3610 Red Oak Drive, LaGrange. Liz Burrows, Oldham County Health Department, spoke to the court regarding concerns with legalizing medical cannabis. Oldham County Property Value Administrator Barbara Winters thanked Fiscal Court, Maintenance Department, and the Building Maintenance Committee for the renovations to the PVA building. Bob Jones, 3215 Highway 1694, Brownsboro, spoke to the court regarding concerns relating to traffic safety on a portion of Highway 329 at Exit 14 off Interstate 71 and asked for the speed limit to be reduced. KYTC presentation. Matt Bullock, KYTC Chief Engineer, District 5, presented information to the court regarding the 2018-19 Rural Secondary Road Program and responded to questions from the court. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to accept the Rural Secondary Road Program recommendations for 2018-19 as submitted by KYTC and return the flex funds to KYTC. Motion carried unanimously. Bid openings, various spring paving projects. The following sealed bids for the reference road resurfacing projects were open and read aloud for the record. Group 1, Crystal Lake. Flynn Brothers, $409,836.22. Hall Contracting, $435,527.52. Louisville Paving, $315,110.09. Matt Construction, $470,200. Riverside Paving, $664,259.06. Wingham Paving, $396,746.44. Group 2 is Walnut Road, Flynn Brothers, $147,828.70. Hall Contracting, $171,014.29. Louisville Paving, $144,144.79. Matt Construction, $165,441. Riverside Paving, $173,521.19, and Wingham Paving, $151,293.55. Group 3, Old Floydsburg Road, Flynn Brothers, $270,703.40, Hall Contracting, $322,734.99, Louisville Paving, $252,205.63, Matt Construction, $319,308.54, Riverside Paving, $374,738.74, Wingham Paving, $308,532.56. Fiscal Court response to public comment. Judge Vogel asked Fiscal Court members if any had willingness for Fiscal Court to ask state legislation to pass House Bill 166 in support of legalizing medical cannabis in Kentucky. No response heard. Judge Vogel asked the Fiscal Court members if anyone had objection to his writing a letter to state legislature or the appropriate committee expressing Fiscal Court's concern, acknowledging there is an issue, and encourage the legislature to look into it further. Matters at Linkens objected and discussion followed. Mr. Montalvo spoke further on the issue of legalizing cannabis in Kentucky and answered questions from the court. Judge Vogel called for a brief recess, hearing no objection. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to resume the meeting. Motion carried unanimously. Community business, second reading, public hearing for the proposed changes to the Oldham County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. Senior Planner Amy Alvey and Director Jim Urban presented for second reading, public hearing, proposed ordinance KOC 18920-447 relating to repealing and replacing certain sections of the existing Oldham County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. Proposed changes to the ordinance sections were introduced and action taken as follows. Proposed changes to the school capacity standards section were presented by Planning and Development staff and Director of Pupil Personnel for Oldham County Schools, Michael Williams, and the floor was open for public comment. Jeremy Esposito, 504 Woodlake Drive, LaGrange, was sworn in and spoke in favor of the proposed changes. Larry Kaiser, 3000 Maple Leaf Drive, LaGrange, was sworn in and spoke in opposition of the proposed changes. There being no further public comment, the public hearing was closed. Fiscal Court members asked questions of Planning and Development staff, and discussion followed. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to accept the proposed changes to the school capacity standards section. Motion carried unanimously. Proposed changes to the landscape regulation section were presented by Planning and Development staff, and the floor was open for public comment. There being no public comment, the public hearing was closed. Fiscal Court members asked questions of Planning and Development staff. Discussion followed. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to accept the proposed changes to the landscape regulation section as presented. Motion carried unanimously. Proposed changes to the short-term rental section were presented by Planning and Development staff and the Oldham County Tourism Director, Kim Buckler, and the floor was open for public comment. Larry Kaiser, 3000 Maple Leaf Drive, spoke in opposition of the proposed changes. There being no further public comment, the public hearing was closed. Fiscal Court members asked questions of Planning and Development staff and the Tourism Director. Discussion followed. Magistrate Leslie called for question. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to accept the proposed addition of the short-term rental section as presented. Motion carried 6-3. Voting yes, Judge Vogel, Magistrates Leslie, Greenwell, Hounds, Eldridge, and Logsdon. Voting no, Magistrates Dye, Tice, and Linkens. Point of order raised by Magistrate Dye stating Magistrate Leslie's call for question should have required a majority vote before discussion could be cut off. Judge Vogel asked if anyone wanted to continue previous discussion regarding changes to the short-term rental section. Hearing no response, the motion to accept the proposed addition of the short-term rental section was voted on a second time. Motion carried 6-3. Voting yes, Judge Vogel, Magistrates Leslie, Greenwell, Hounds, Eldridge, and Logsdon. Voting no, Magistrates Dye, Tice, and Linkens. Point of order was raised again by Magistrate Dye, citing Robert's Rules of Order that a call to end debate and a call for question should be followed by an actual vote of those in favor of shutting off debate, requiring a majority vote in favor. Discussion followed. Judge Vogel responded to the point of order raised by asking for a voice vote of those in favor of Magistrate Leslie's call for question, thus shutting off debate. Motion to shut off debate carried by majority vote 8-1. Magistrate Dye voted no. Therefore, the motion to accept the proposed addition of the short-term rental section was voted on a third time. Motion carried 6-3. Voting yes, Judge Vogel, Magistrates Leslie, Greenwell, Hounds, Eldridge, and Logsdon. Voting no, Magistrates Dye, Tice, and Linkens. Proposed changes to the maximum height regulation section were presented by Plan and Development staff, and the floor was open for public comment. There being no public comment, the public hearing was closed. Fiscal Court members asked questions of Plan and Development staff. Discussion followed. Motion made by Magistrate Likens and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to accept the proposed changes to the maximum height regulation section as presented. Motion carried unanimously. Proposed changes to the subdivision regulation section were presented by Planning and Development staff, and the floor was open for public comment. There being no public comment, the public hearing was closed. Fiscal Court members asked questions of Planning and Development staff. Discussion followed. Motion made by Magistrate Logsdon and seconded by Magistrate Eldridge to accept the proposed changes to the subdivision regulations section as presented. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to adopt proposed ordinance KOC number 1892447 relating to repealing and replacing certain sections of the existing Oldham County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. Motion carried 8-1. Magistrate Dye voted no. First reading of the proposed changes to the smoking ordinance. Judge Vogel presented for first reading proposed ordinance KOC 1882441 repealing and replacing ordinance KOC 0682464 relating to the prohibition of smoking in Oldham County and establishing a new ordinance as presented. The second reading public hearing is April 17th. Payables. Motion made by Magistrate Tice and seconded by Magistrate Leslie to approve the payables. Motion carried unanimously. Surplus property. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Greenwell to declare surplus the listed county property, damaged 2014 Ford Explorer with intent to salvage. Motion carried unanimously. Reports and recommendations. Emergency Management Services update on the flood response. Director Jerry Nauert, Recycling Manager Becky Zocklin, and Director of Planning and Development Jim Urban provided an overview of the county's response to recent flooding, including cleanup efforts and resources spent. Parks Committee, contract for fireworks display. Motion made by Magistrate Leslie and seconded by Magistrate Likens to authorize the Judge Executive to sign the fireworks agreement with Casabella Fireworks. Motion carried 8-1. Magistrate Eldridge voted no. Personnel actions. Parks and Recreation. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Dye to hire Amanda Leach as part-time community center assistant at $11.96 an hour effective March 21st as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Animal Control. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Dye to approve the employment status change of Animal Control Officer Suzanne Schulte from part-time to full-time, effective April 1st, as submitted. Motion carried unanimously. Kentucky Retirement Systems Administrative Action Discussion. Motion made by Magistrate Eldridge and seconded by Magistrate Tice to authorize John Carter to contact the KRS attorney in response to the claim of pension spiking on a former employee, stating Fiscal Court's willingness to pay the $425.69 invoice and dismiss the pending appeal without any admission. Motion carried 7-2. Voting yes, Judge Vogel, Magistrates Likens, Tice, Leslie, Hounds, Eldridge, and Dye. Voting no, Magistrates Logsdon and Greenwell. Bid awards for various road projects. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to award the Crystal Lake Road Resurfacing Project, Group 1, to Louisville Paving for $315,110.09. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Hounds to award the Walnut Road Resurfacing Project, Group 2, to Louisville Paving for $144,144.79. Motion carried unanimously. Motion made by Magistrate Greenwell and seconded by Magistrate Likens to award the county portion only, not awarding for Pee Wee Valley or Crestwood Road Project portion of Old Floydsburg Road Resurfacing Project, Group 3, to Louisville Paving for $38,033.98. Motion carried unanimously. Second public comment, none. Announcements. Magistrate Greenwell said road conditions could be extremely hazardous due to the current snowstorm and to please be careful. Magistrate Tice congratulated Brooke Veman on the birth of her baby. Motion made by Magistrate Hounds and seconded by Magistrate Logsdon to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried unanimously, and the meeting was adjourned at 6:33 p.m.
You've heard the reading of our minutes from the March 20th meeting. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Any corrections? On page 1, the first sentence of the last paragraph should be a fiscal court to ask the state legislature. Page 1. All right. Hearing no other additions or corrections, all in favor, please, Magistrate Dye. Okay. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Time now for public comment.
I do have a question, Judge.
Okay, sure.
On these road bids, and maybe Magistrate Greenwell could help me out on this. It amazes me that the difference in the amounts of money on the Crystal Lake project, I'm not going to call that company names, okay? But one company price was twice what the winning contractor was. Is there any, is there a rhyme or reason to that?
To be honest with you, it was a little bit more than twice.
Well, I'm being nice.
And you're right. And the only thing I can say is that a road contractor got the whole budget's worth last year because of their bidding, and they achieved what we hoped would happen, and that would make everybody sit up and take notice and get hungry. And some of them did, some of them didn't. So the one contractor that got the bids, I mean, they got all three of them. So that just means they were consistent in their intention, I think.
Well, in the other two bids, they were not, it wasn't, the disparity wasn't so much, and I see these, and I deal with bids and contracts all the time. When I see something twice as much, somebody didn't read something right, or they didn't want to do the job, hoping they'd get it at the big number, one or the other.
And that could be true on both counts, I think.
Okay, well, just curious.
And on Group 3, though, you got a $100,000 swing. I mean, there's swings on all of them except for Group 2's not as much, but.
Right.
Thanks for that. I see these, I can't figure out why, and I've looked at it 2 or 3 different ways. Thank you.
Time now for public comment. That's the time during the meeting when anybody who would like to ask a question of the fiscal court is able to do so, or would like to make a statement regarding something in the community. Is there anybody here who would like to address fiscal court at this point? Seeing no one, I'm going to close the public comment section. We'll go on to the first item on their agenda today, and that's the presentation of the 2018-19 jail budget. I believe Mr. Simpson is here to do that.
Thank you, Judge. Members of Court, as most of you know, what we're doing here today is just simply presenting. It's not for adoption. We are required by law to have that done by the first meeting in April. So that's actually what we're doing here today. Probably owe the court a little bit of an apology. I know I haven't had a chance to meet with some members of the court. Unfortunately, for me on a personal level, this is my second day back to work. I was down about 10 days with the flu, and hopefully no one else has had that, because it is the real deal. And but again, we have been able to put together some numbers, working with Melissa and Stan. Hopefully everyone has a copy. Again, basically today's main objective is that we're presenting it, meeting what our requirement is by law. Be glad to answer any questions. I would like to be able to, over the next couple of weeks, have an opportunity to schedule some meetings where we can really kind of dissect this a little bit more. But I'd be glad to answer any questions the court may have today.
Okay, we'll refer this to the finance and jail committees. Thank you for your presentation. Next item on the agenda today are our payables. And when the court's ready, we'll accept a motion here.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we pay the bills. Any questions on any of them? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Moving on to community business here now, under item B, we have our second reading of the fiscal 17-18 budget amendment. This is a public hearing. Anybody who would like to address the court after Ms. Horn presents the amendment will be able to do so.
This is ordinance KOC 18-220-445. It's an amendment to the current fiscal year's budget. It amends both receipts and expenditures by $2,800,179.19. The reason for the amendment is to cover 6 projects One is the replacement of a chiller at the AOC building. The second one is to purchase property on Kentucky 393. The third one is to complete some services on LaGrange Parkway. The fourth one is to accept a flood mitigation grant for Riverside Drive. The fifth one is to move some money from reserves to cover a recreational trails grant match at Morgan Conservation Park. And the last one is to move some money from reserves for the recording equipment from a CMRS grant.
All right. Is there a motion here? Moved and seconded. All right, thank you. At this point, I'll open the floor to public comment. Was there anyone here today who wanted to make a comment in regard to this change, this amendment? Seeing no one, I'll close the floor to public comment. Are there any magistrates who would like to ask questions about the budget amendment? Magistrate Dye?
On the old road garage, when do we take possession, or soon?
We're in the state has asked for a property description of what it is that we intend to purchase. We're in the process of getting that description together. Takes a surveyor and some additional information that's being sought from the Transportation Cabinet. I hope to have that in, let's say, a month.
So we'll own all that along,
Pardon?
we'll own all that along
Yes,
393?
we'll own the entire property at that point.
Okay, all right.
Contract to purchase the property has already been signed. It's just that, unlike most circumstances, when you're buying a piece of property, the seller provides a property description. In this case, the Transportation Cabinet wants us to provide the property description, so we're
probably don't know what they
getting
have.
that together.
They don't know what they've got over there, is probably what it is. Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. A budget amendment is an ordinary piece of business in the course of a fiscal year. Things happen over the course of the year that are not anticipated when the budget's put together. And the budget amendment takes care of funding those anticipated changes. The next item on the agenda today has to do with the contract agreements and resolutions, our animal control spay-neuter grant. Our new animal control director, Polly Helton, is here, and Polly will present that. Welcome today, and this will be your, I don't think it's your first time before fiscal court, but it's certainly your first time leading the department, so welcome.
Thank you. Once again, the county will be applying for the Kentucky Agriculture Spay-Neuter Grant. This grant allows us to help low-income families have their pets spayed or neutered, as well as helping us fund the trap-neuter return policy of community cat colonies. Therefore, I'm asking the court to approve Judge Vogel sign any required documents in this grant.
So move.
All right, moved and seconded that I be allowed to submit the application for the spay-neuter grant to the Department of Agriculture. Any questions on that? This, again, is something we participated in frequently.
Many years.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. The Ballersville Lion Club is asked fiscal court if it would be willing to accept the Ballersville Lions Club property on North Camden Lane, or is it South Camden?
North.
North, that's what I thought, all right. And Paul Terry is here today. Paul, would you like to come forward? I believe the fiscal court is prepared to accept this property, and we've done the legal research on it and have a contract together for you to sign as a representative of the club. Would you like to tell the community about the club and the status you've reached at this point?
Our club has been in this county for right around 60 years. We've had several outstanding members that a lot of the judge and a lot of the fiscal court members know and have been well known out through the county. Our club has got to where all of us have gotten too old to continue doing this, so we decided that donating this property would be the best thing for us to do. Pam Nooner is with me. She is one of our first founding Linuses, and she decided to join me today. That's basically about it. We've served fish for many years in this county. We've had a lot of people that enjoyed our fish fries and stuff. We raise money to buy glasses for the needy, people that can't afford to buy glasses for themselves. Is what the Lions Club does. Lions Club is worldwide. In your foreign countries over in Japan and Asia and places over there, the Lions Club is a lot bigger than what it is here in the United States. So, but it is worldwide and it is a good organization. So we no longer can do it, so we've decided to let y'all have the property and do something with it.
All right. Well, Paul, on behalf of the community, I'd like to thank you for this donation. We certainly appreciate everything the Ballardsville Lions Club has done for the past 60 years. And there's a sadness in this acceptance because we hate to all see people get older, and we understand many service clubs have had trouble maintaining membership just because there are too many things to do in life at this point, and younger people have directed attention elsewhere, but we certainly thank you and everyone in the club who has made a long-lasting and sincere effort to improve our community and be of service to everyone here. So,
Thank you, Judge.
thank you so much.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion, we accept the donation of the Lions Club.
I was going to ask if we had a recommendation from the park. That's good, from the Parks Committee.
We do have a recommendation from the Parks Committee, Judge. Our chair has taken ill and had to leave, but I was in there as well as Magistrate Tice, and it was unanimous that we accept this gracious offer from the Lions Club, and we appreciate it very much.
All right. So we have a move and a second here to accept the donation. Are there any questions regarding the legal steps involved here?
I just had one small question. I'd talked back and forth with Kevin Nuss this week about some particulars and got those all answered. I had called earlier for Tate Combs and was not able to reach him, but on the receipts, there appears to be an $85 discrepancy there. Now, I'm fine with it either way. It looks like on one hand, our total expense would be $2188, and on the other hand, $2103. Do you have an answer to that, Mr. Carter, sir? No. Okay. I would make a motion that, or, I'd be happy with the motion either way, but it doesn't add up.
Mr. Combs will figure that out if you go ahead and approve it.
Okay.
It appears to me that he has his bill is there's $85 difference between two lines in his bill.
Absolutely.
So,
I thought maybe that was his donation. I wasn't sure.
So is Mr. Combs giving the $85 to us also?
You'll have to ask him.
Okay.
I'm not sure. All right, hearing no objections, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. All right, thank you very much, and please thank all the members on our behalf. We sincerely appreciate everything you've done, and this donation will be long-lasting. The next item on the agenda, committee reports and recommendations from the Human Resources Committee. I believe we have a couple recommendations. Magistrate Logston.
Good afternoon. Before the court today are two job descriptions. With the changes going on at Animal Control, we just went through the job descriptions and decided to go ahead and update those. So that's what you have before you. They're both updated with current duties. They're cleaned up in the same format as the other ones that we've been bringing before the court. So there's one for Animal Control Director and Animal Control Officer.
Judge, I'd like to make the recommendation, we accept these job description updates, please.
Second.
Moved and seconded that the court adopt these job description updates for Animal Control Director and Animal Control Officer. Are there any questions about that, gentlemen? Magistrate Eldridge?
Just a point of order from Ms. Schaaf, can this be done in a group, or would you rather them done separate?
Well, as long as the minutes reflect both, I think that would be all right. Together.
Magistrate Dye?
You've changed the director and the officer. Am I to assume there's no assistant animal director position?
Well, I mean, still, there's still a position there. There's no one in that
You
position.
didn't, but you didn't clean it up when you were doing these? Or didn't see a need to, or?
Oh, no, we were just doing these two right now.
Oh,
No,
so-
because we just did that one.
Okay, oh,
That
you
one had
did?
just been brought to the court for approval, so it's
See,
in
I
the
knew
new
you knew the
format.
answer.
It's in the new format already.
Yeah, okay. I knew you was on top. I just want to be sure.
All right, the,
Thank you.
the job description for the assistant director was presented earlier this year, and that was before, Ms. Rosamond announced her retirement, and so this is the time to make the update now with the transition in personnel. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
In regard to personnel, other personnel action here, on the Tourism Commission, Grant Abbott, as his term has come up to be reappointed. Grant has been the chairman of our Tourism Commission for the past 3 years, and I believe he's done an excellent job in guiding the steps of that commission. I'd like to ask that he be reappointed until April of 2021.
Judge, I'd like to make that motion.
Well,
Second?
moved and second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So moved. Our meeting is, last meeting on April 20th went on for hours and hours. It was actually a 4-hour meeting, which was on the unusual side. This meeting is on the short side today. We're going to adjourn for an executive session in just a moment, but was there anyone else at this point who would like to address the fiscal court in closing comments? Seeing no one, I'll close public comment and ask that fiscal court go into executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or adjourned?